What's going on, guys? Alright, in this video we are going to assemble a brand new reproduction XY monitor chassis. This is a brand new Amplifone clone, but I believe it's actually better than the original Amplifone. And the amazing thing is the size. I mean, the size is just, it's crazy. It's so small compared to, you know, the full-size Amplifone boards. Now, let me talk about this here. I really hope, see, this was made by a guy named Fred Konopaska, okay? Now, Fred is a recent friend of mine, and he has a lot of the same interests as me. To be honest, I kind of look up to the guy. Okay, he has a page on Facebook called Vectrex XY and Vector Monitors, the technical side. I'll put a link somewhere around here so you can find it. Okay. Now, he sent these boards, he designed these boards and sent them off to a board house, and he assembled all these parts by hand. And he was taking pre-orders on the boards, and this is what I'd like you guys to do. If you guys want to build your own brand new reproduction kit, if you guys want to get your own, please go bother Fred. Go on Vectrex XY and Vector Monitors, the technical side, on Facebook. And I want you guys to bombard him with requests to build these monitors. I hope Fred's okay with that. But now, Fred, he's known for being in Hackaday by building tiny, let me grab one. By building these tiny little deflection boards. That is a reproduction, but a replacement for the Vectrex deflection boards. Really cool. He also made little tiny high voltage boards and so on, and you can steal the flybacks out of a commonly found TV. Also, by the way, I'm on Hackaday. I'm on Hackaday twice, matter of fact. If you look up Arcade Jason 36-inch Vector monitor, and if you look up Arcade Jason 19-inch Vector monitor, you'll see me too. Yeah, very, very cool. And this guy, he's made Vector monitors out of just about every tube imaginable. So in this video, we're going to put this thing together, and we're going to go step by step, and we're going to show you how it works. And at the end, I'm going to try to make this work on a 36-inch tube. So let's get started. Okay, so I have the plug here, socket. This is a CR23, I believe. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I labeled the sides here, G1 green, I think it says G2 red, heater blue. So one thing I know is G1 is ground, and one of my heaters is also going to be grounded. So I'm going to bend this. That's easier said than done. Okay, I'm not going to bend it. That one can bend. Hold on. Okay, now these two are bent in. That's going to be my ground, and then this here is going to be ground also. This pin right here is actually a spark gap. There's inside these, there's a spark gap that if the focus voltage gets too high, it'll jump across the spark, and it's a safety thing. So I'm going to go ahead, I don't have to use it, but I'm going to use it. So this is going to be grounded, this and one of the heater is going to be grounded. So let me find my heater wire. And I'm probably just going to strip a bunch of wire here. Screw it. Okay, so let me ground out the spark gap. Let me ground out my G1. And let me ground out my heater. Oh, I moved it before it dried. Okay, let's do the heater. Okay, that's one of the heaters. There's my G1. Okay, so all grounds are now done. And let me cut a little section of this. And we're going to do this for my heater. Okay, so orange in my case is heater. And let's see here. Blue. Grab a blue wire. Okay, so where's my blue? This looks like this is blue. Okay, so there's my blue. And here's green. It looks like that's a G1 or green. Green. This is my green. Okay. Here is my red. Where's my red? Looks like that says red. Okay. Now I know these side pins are rarely used. What else do I have to look up here? Okay. It's the opposite of this. Hold on. Heater, heater, that's hooked up. Yeah, we got them all right. Yep. Feels like they're not all there, but they're there. Okay, so now I'm going to put in G2. I gotta hook up G2. Where is it? G2. Well, that's terrible. Good enough for now. No, it's not. There we go. Okay, so G2 is connected to the flyback, or the, you know, it's really not called a flyback transformer when it's on a vector monitor, because vector monitors have no flyback. So this is just called a high voltage transformer. But, okay, also I removed this piece right here that was on the G07 chassis to remove the focus adjustment. So now I'm going to put the new focus adjustment in, which is on top of the flyback right here. We're going to put it in just like that. I'm going to solder it in. Okay. Now I get to close this thing up. Now this is about 180 volts, and it's probably a good idea to have this covered up. How did this go? Like this. Okay, so now that's focus. G2 looks nice. That's a nice and pretty. And on this I have heater, ground. Also I have, let's see here. Oh, I see. Heater, my B plus, 24 volt and ground. I'm going to wire all this in. 24 volt heater. Okay. Well, let me get a plug put together. Okay, so I taped up my wires here, and I may do something about the back because of the bare stuff, but I mean, you know, it's fine. Now, I made my cable extra long, and I pre-tinned these wires, but I need to make a connector so it can plug in right here on the deflection board, just like an ampliphone, just a different kind of connector. But there is an actual tool you're supposed to use, and I don't have it. It's actually at the shop. So instead, I'm going to solder it in. To be honest, I kind of like it better when it's soldered in. But let me try to get the camera closer here. That way you can kind of see it a little better. I'm just going to leave it in there, just like that. That one's in. The orange was my heater wire. The red goes to my red gun. Black was my ground. And green is my green gun, of course. And blue for my blue gun. Okay, let me back the camera up. I think a lot of that might have been off camera. Oh well. Okay, so yeah, there's an actual tool that's supposed to crimp these, but don't have it here at least. Now I gotta take this apart. Okay, let me just kind of pinch these a little bit. Pinch this one a little bit. This one I soldered too low. It's fine, I think it'll still fit. Yeah, for years I thought of doing this, of making a kit myself, and I still am thinking about doing a kit, but with a different take on it. Okay, so see, I can't remember if it goes this way or if it goes that way. Oh, it goes this way for sure. Okay, so let's put these in. Looks like my first plug on this side is ground. So right here's where my ground needs to be. Get in there, you bastard. See, I'm basically having to pay for soldering it instead of crimping it. But it is in there. Okay, next one is heater. That was my orange. Okay, next one, let me get this untangled. Next one is, what does it say? Blue. So blue is going to go here. This one is definitely questionable. You know what? I know it ain't going to go in. Let's pull it out. Totally screwed it up. Let's resolder this. Definitely no good. Solder over. That'll work. Okay, so that was blue. The next one was green. And this one must be red. Okay, so now all these plugs are in, and my neck board will plug directly into the deflection board, like so. Okay, so to spare you some boredom, I went ahead and did the second wire right here. By the way, I figured I'd mention, I got this kit a little cheaper than normal because I I opted to build some of these wires and stuff myself. If you buy Fred's kit, you won't have to repin all these connectors and all that, I believe. I'm pretty sure. By the way, I'm going to mount this onto a piece of wood, and I'm going to test this on a 36-inch tube. This may or may not work on a 36-inch tube. It wasn't designed to work on a 36-inch tube. This is designed to replace the monitor in a 6100, and it will replace. Okay, this will work in Tempest, Space Duel, Gravatar, Black Widow. I mean, etc., etc. Okay, it'll also work in Star Wars and any Atari Color Vector, and it's yet to be tested, but I believe it could even work in Sega vectors, Sega Color Vectors. But we'll see. Someday I might do a video on that in the future. Now, this kit came with a fan. Okay, and if you run vector monitors, maybe you'll agree with me. But I mean, you know, fans save monitors. This may not need a fan. It probably doesn't need a fan, but I'm going to use it. You know, there's a little spot right here where I can plug a fan into it right here, and that's going to keep things cool. A cool vector monitor lasts a lot longer than a hot vector monitor. Also, I have a second fan somewhere, and I don't know what I did with it. But anyways, I'm going to keep these separate on two separate areas of the cabinet. So I'm going to, oh, here's my other fan. So I'm going to do a quick little deal where I'm going to wire up a 12-volt regulator And I'm probably going to put, you know, maybe the little fan right here and maybe the big fan right here, just so I can separate 12 volts from two different areas. Real simple thing, simple way to do it, and I'll show you real quick here. Okay, so I got myself a 7812. This is a 12 volt regulator. And if you know anything about 7805, 7812, 7824, 7818s, whatever, the first pin is your input, the middle pin is your ground, and the last pin is your output. And so, I see right here this board's already labeled, and it says 24 volt is this pin right here, and ground is this pin right here. So, now that I know where those wires are, I'm just going to clip these and connect it like this. Just going to clip this sucker short. Like that. And I'm going to tin it. This is totally unnecessary, but I'm doing it because I like me some fans. It's always important to have fans on these vector monitors, in my opinion. But okay. Okay, so let me get my, I'm going to use this fan and cut the connector off of it. Okay, let me tin the wires on these. Okay, here's the ground. Here's an output. Let me tin this one a little better. Okay. So, not necessary, but that's just, twist this up a little bit. Not necessary, but I just like to have fans. These things run cool as hell. So there's that. Now, once again, if you buy this, you will have all the connectors already pre-made for you. But in case you're cheap like me and you try to get it cheaper by doing all the connectors and stuff yourself, I'll tell you how I figured out the pinout on this. First off, ground. There's a little test point right over here, and right there is my ground. And I figured right here, it literally says red right on the board. So right here, it's a red. So that's how I know there's red right there. And right here is green. Right there's my green. Right here is blue. There's my blue. And X size and Y size, they literally went right off the top of this, right off the top of this resistor right here. But if you need a visual of it, right here, yellow and orange, or I know they're on the Atari harness as X and Y already, so I figured I'd use those colors. And red, green, and blue is up top, and I just used one ground right here. And so that's that connector. This is going to go to a regular Atari style Molex connector. And there's supposed to be a plug right here. I'm not going to use that plug. I'm going to solder wires directly to this, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it all together. I have the connector all pinned up. By the way, if you want to know how the connector is pinned, right here is the 2 flat spots. I'm going to turn it over, and you have red, green, blue, and I only used one of the grounds right here. But it's normally ground, ground, ground. And then here's your X and Y, and I believe this and here are also grounds, but honestly one ground is fine. But okay, so also I soldered this directly into the board. You can see right here. I bridged these over. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Anyways, I'm going to mount this to my piece of wood. Now, somewhere I'm going to need to mount my resistor here. This is for the D-Gauss coil. AC just connects directly to that. That's all it is. There's a resistor in here, and when it heats up, it disconnects from the D-Gauss coil by itself. That's why you have to wait for a while for a D-Gauss circuit to reset. Okay, so in this kit comes, by the way, all this, if you already bought the kit, it would have been wasted time. You know what I mean? You would already, all you had to have done is plug everything together. But in this kit comes these 3 nylon washers, spacers. And I believe they go here, 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 and here. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in. It's going to be something like that. And I think that feels right. Does that feel right? I'm going to go ahead and mount it down. There's another screw. Okay. Flip this over. Are you excited to see a new Vector hardware? I live for this stuff. Screw. Okay, so that's mounted. It's solid, but I kind of don't like how the heatsink hangs. But I think it'll be. I mean, sure, it'll be fine. You'd have to throw it out a window for it to be broken. But I took these out, these PCB feet. Just curious if that would fit somewhere. Because I got these PCB feet out because I didn't know this came with the nylon washers. Ooh, I kind of like that. That's what I'll do. I'll just put a screw right there so it kind of makes it more solid. Not necessary, but you know what? I'm going to do one, I might as well do 2. Alright, let me screw that down. Okay, I just put the one down. But, so let me mount this guy. Now this came with these nylon washers right here that you can put underneath each hole. And I kind of like the idea of them being lifted up. I don't know, I just like circuit boards being lifted up. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it this way. Let me dig for these. Okay. Yeah, right now it is 9:37. and 12 o'clock is the new year. So, by the time you see this video, it will be the new year. So, Happy New Year! Alright. Get this bastard down here. Also, one thing I think is really cool about this high voltage unit here is that it has an external power plug right here. So, if you want to do experimenting with it, and I love doing experimenting, you could actually use this on a whole different circuit. You can use it on anything. Matter of fact, let's say if you just want to see, this is 24 volts in, heater B+. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, I have to check out the schematics. You can ask Fred, but I'm pretty sure if you wanted to, let's say you had a 6100, you could use just a high voltage for your 6100. That's cool, right? See, the place I have in mind, and I'm going to mount this to, might be a bad idea that I'm raising this. I just thought that. But let's go ahead and mount it anyways, see what happens. And I cracked it. Cracked the wood. That's solid poplar. Whoops. Oh well. I'm actually afraid to put the next in. Maybe I should have drilled some pilot holes. Tell you what, this is pretty damn solid, so let it be. And let me go back over here. I am going to use these two nylon bushings to mount this here. Alright, whole thing's nice and solid. Okay, so how am I going to mount this fan? You know, I can see that if I had long enough screws, this would screw right into the heatsink just like on a computer. But I don't have long enough screws. So, well, I'll figure out some way to mount the fan. Well, I jabbed some holes through the plastic on the casing here, and I'm going to just drive screws right into the side. I hit this with a soldering iron actually to jab some holes in it. And there's two resistors here I'm going to try to keep cool, so I'm going to put the fan right here in the middle so it does a little bit of the heatsink, a little bit of that. Okay, get another screw. It still spins freely, so we are good to go. Well, it's all assembled. I'm getting ready to test it. I mounted my fan right here, and from where I think I'm going to have my high voltage box, this short distance is actually great. But I'm going to have my deflection board way at the bottom. See, I'm gonna try this on a 36-inch tube. But so these two cables connect between these two, between this and this. And then this will plug directly into a standard Atari harness. And so, well, let's try it out. Okay, so I'm down in the basement. I'm behind the 36-inch Vector monitor, and I thought I'd show you guys a trick. In case you guys don't know, in case you guys want to do a tube swap and you realize you don't have the right tube or whatever, you may still have the right tube. And I'll show you a trick. Okay, let me move this down here. Okay, we take off this neck board, and look, this right here is the socket for a 6100, right? Well, my guy right here is a CR23, I believe it's called. So that won't fit, right? Well, yes it will. You can get this, you get a razor blade. And let me move this camera a little bit. You get a razor blade, and you cut the silicone around, okay? And you gently work it out. You take off the connector, okay? Now, I'm going to get this connector, which will fit. And I'm going to literally stick it in. Good to go. Now it will fit. So, and what a lot of people don't realize is that is actually the same pinout. Just a different looking plug. Okay, so let me tear all this out and let's put the new chassis in. It looks like I ran into some technical difficulties, and I'm not going to throw Fred's kit under the bus because it very well may have been my own fault. You see, I tried to hook that directly up to a 36-inch tube. Now, keep in mind, by the way, a 36-inch tube is huge. And keep in mind that this kit was designed for a 19-inch tube, and I believe Fred tried it in a 25, and it does work in a 25. But it's never been tested to run. This has never been tested to work with a 36-inch tube, and it doesn't fare very well, and I believe I may have damaged it. So I ordered replacement parts on eBay, and I'm going to go back to this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to test this thing, but unfortunately, this aspect of this kit will be in another video. So, at some point there will be a second video relating to this whole topic then. Okay, so, what I have done instead is, or I'm in the process of doing, is I'm rewiring it. I'm cheating. I'm hacking it up because I want to see this fucker work. I'm hacking it up right now. I have wired in a Wells Gardner 6100 high voltage unit, and I cut the original wires to the high voltage. Right here would have been your focus. Right here would have been your G2 voltage. And luckily, focus is right here. And it's the same voltages. Focus, and here's your G2. And I just got a plain old Molex connector and just kind of pinned it up myself. And everything else is legit. Everything else lines up. Your B plus comes out of this plug right here and all that. And although there's one extra wire I had to run, if you notice, the original runs off of, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's plus 24. Well, I'm actually running plus 30 to it, but that's fine. This also takes 30. And negative 25 or whatever. So I did run, see if I could zoom in here. I did pull my voltages off of the positive and negative 24 after it goes through the regulator, not the regulator, the rectifier, and it goes through the capacitor. So it's been filtered, it's going there. I'm pulling positive and negative 25-ish volts, and that's what's powering the thing right here. So there's one more thing I'm going to do, and then I'll get this going. This is a hack. So at this point, I'm only going to show you guys the deflection board when it works. It will, I promise. So one additional thing I need to do, and I don't know if Fred intended for this to be done. I don't think he did, but I'll show you guys how to do it in this video. But I need to wire in heater voltages because the heater voltages are built in on this guy. Normally on high voltage circuits, you have a separate winding on your transformer that would have your 6 volts or whatever your tube might take to run the heater coil. And so depending on the game, sometimes certain games, and some certain Atari games especially, and some Cinematronics games, they actually use the same voltage that went to your coin door LEDs, or your coin door bulbs, to actually run the heater. And so, and also the voltage to the heater isn't very crucial. I mean, honestly, you know, it's designed, most of these tubes are designed for 6 volts. But you can pump 7 volts into it, no issue. And you can pump 5 volts into it, no issue. It's not that sensitive. So I'm probably going to wire up a arcade power supply, just to, you know, maybe I'll be able to turn that knob up to 5.5, close enough to 6. But okay, let me put this back. Let me put this together, and I know this will work. I know it will, and let's test it out. Okay, this is definitely a temporary rig job, but as of now, I didn't even solder it in. I just kind of wrapped 5 volts going to the heater, and I just went ahead and I twisted my ground to my ground here, and I'm running just a computer power supply. Now, let me mention a couple boo-boos that I did here, okay? You see my red wire right here? I accidentally wired it to the blue side. And you see my blue wire? I accidentally wired it to my red side. Also, if you see that one cut pin, I accidentally wired my X or Y, whichever it was, to the other side. It's kind of confusing when you're looking at the schematic, and it's actually the mirror image of what it's really supposed to be. So I actually looked at the mirror image and thought it was the correct way, but it is. So it's correct now. The first image I showed you is actually incorrect, but let me go around here. So obviously, the monitor is working. It looks beautiful, by the way. Excellent picture. But my red and my blue are actually mixed up right now. So you know what, let me turn off, oh, by the way, yes, this is Gravatar, and if you follow my connector, you'll see that I'm going to a Gravatar arcade machine, and right here's the original Wells Gardner 6100, of course. But, so, you know what, let me turn, yeah, you see, the letter should be blue and the bottom should be red. That's my fault. I'll fix it. But let me turn the lights off so you can kind of get a better view of what the picture looks like. Okay, so that's it. I have some lights turned off here. Beautiful picture. You know, I am not perfect, and I'm not going to edit the video to make it look like I'm perfect. I do things that are wrong, you know. But this is just an experiment, you know. In the future, I will go ahead and fix the high voltage board that I probably fried. And I'll, you know, go ahead and maybe do this video again. Actually, you know what? The next video, hold on, I'm going to grab it. The next video is probably going to be me. Let me turn this light on. The next video is probably going to be me toying around with this guy. Okay? Now, I mentioned in a previous video, I think I might have mentioned in this video, this is Fred Konopaska's mini deflection board which is actually an improvement. It has a better picture on a Vectrex deflection board, okay? And you can use this deflection board to power, make your own mini vector monitor, black and white, of course. But I want to push this thing to its absolute limit. We're gonna see, this is designed to run up to a 12-inch monitor. But despite Fred's beliefs, he didn't design it to do any better than that. But I'm gonna push this sucker as far as we can go, and I bet you I can get this tiny sucker to drive a 19-inch monitor, almost unaltered. You know what I mean? See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up all the components and see what the highest current and voltage ratings that they can handle, and I'm going to push it to its limits without frying it. This is designed to run, I believe it's plus and minus 12 volts. I'll have to look it up, but you know, so I'm going to go ahead and repopulate this, and that's going to be a whole other video where I'm going to mess around with that. But with all my corrections and incorrect things that I've done, that's the video. What do you guys think? Give me some comments down below. Give me some ideas of other videos to do. You know, my channel is about arcade machines, right? But I'm trying to go by the comments that you guys give me to a certain degree here. But my channel's turning into a vector channel. I don't want it to be just vector, so give me some ideas on some rasters that you might want me to do. I would like to do something crazy and unique that you haven't seen before. Give me some ideas. It may sound crazy, and I might be able to do it, or it may sound easy and I can't do it. So give me an idea. Have a good one.